Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order. It's 6 o'clock, May 21st, 2026, and we're at the Hampton Memorial Library, Pickens County. Library Board Trustee to call order. Roll call. Miss Nancy, will you please roll call for us?
Dr. Wheeler,
Here.
Elisa Pinkerton,
Here.
Robert Sams,
Here.
Brian Aiken,
Here.
Mark Kilburn,
Here.
and I'm here, Nancy Miller.
I move to accept the agenda as written. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Seconded. Sorry.
Robert says. Okay. Invocation will be led by Mr. Robert Sams. If you wish not to participate, feel free to quietly exit at this time.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for everything. As your Son taught us, let us love one another. Let us love you, and let us agree and love people that might not share our same opinions and values. In your Son's name we pray, amen.
Amen. Pledge of allegiance.
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. And now we will have the manager report, Margaret Holder from Youth Services.
Hi everyone, I'm Margaret Holder. Like she had mentioned, I'm the Youth Services Manager here at Easley, and I'm excited to share with you our summer reading program. We'll have our kickoff at all of the locations on May 29th, next Friday from 10 until 1, and the theme this year is Unearth a Story. So each location will have something different, but here at Easley, we'll have a couple of food trucks, we'll have face painting, tattoo, an information table about the summer reading program. The state park will have a representative here to share their information. As well, we'll have our lawn games out in the yard. We'll also have Ed's Dino here doing a presentation, as well as a few mascots. We have Beasley, which is Easley's mascot, and Pickens County has their own mascot, Sky. We'll have the Chick-fil-A cow and also the Greenville Drive's mascot. So we're going to kick off this great summer reading season. So that's on the 29th, next Friday, and the summer reading challenge starts on June 1st and runs through July 25th, with the grand prize drawing being August the 3rd. So with me being new to the position, I did reach out to the other branches and staff to ask what went well, what didn't, what do you want to try, and all that. So we did make a couple tweaks, which is always good to have input from other team members. So there's 9 performers this season, and that's each week during the summer reading challenge. In the past, we had skipped July 4th because of it being a holiday, but how it fell in the lineup, we thought it shouldn't be a bother with the attendance. Speaking of that, when we have the performances, we tweak that as well. So on Mondays here at Easley will be at 10 o'clock and then another one at 6. Pickens will take the middle afternoon slot at 2:30. Then on Tuesday, we're going to start off at Central Clemson at 10. So then that way, if they're at meeting room capacity, there is still another option for people to attend at Liberty at their rec department at 2:30. So that eliminates having to turn people away and giving them another option so they're not missing out. Also, in the past, we put a pause on the preschool story time during summer reading, but it was voiced that those kids need that routine of, and same with the parents and caregivers, they get their kid in that routine and they didn't want to, put up the break in it. So we're going to continue that this summer. So we're pleased to be able to offer that with the Youth Services Department. So to highlight some of the performers, we have to have our regular repeats such as Critter Keeper and Wildlife Geeks. I mean, if we didn't, there might be some disruption. So we brought back a few of our ones we've had in the past because it ties in with Unearth a Story. So we have the South Carolina Aquarium. The Children's Museum will be presenting as well. We have a musician and as well as some new ones. Bright Star Theater is a new one for us, and White Nights. The SCDNR has did a program for us at Pickens, but on a smaller scale, but they're going to enhance it to accommodate our attendance. So we're pleased to have them this year for that. So that's for the performances. So now to the competition of the challenge. So it's either 10 books or 10 activities or a combination of both. So to highlight some of the activities that you have a choice of completing, one, we wanted to promote Liberty Seed Library. So one is to plant a flower or something. So there again, you can go to the Liberty location and get one of your 10 seed packets by having a library card. Also, if you go to a local museum, we have the Children's Museum and the Upcountry History Museum passes available for checkout. So that's an activity easy to accomplish. We wanted to promote our annual bookmark contest. So if you do an entry into the contest, that's another activity. We are going to do a school supply drive. So if you donate a school item, that counts as an activity. We did change the format of the actual log to allow more space for the participants to input their information. And that way, because, the kids want to fill out their name, but we have to input that information. So if we can't read it, it's not good. So we did make that a little bit larger to allow room for that. So once they complete their log and turn it into any of the locations, under 18 gets this cute surprise pouch. And I'm going to give a shout out to the friends for helping us make this possible. So in the surprise pouch, we had some great vendors to help participate. There's limited supplies for Zaxby's and Whataburger, but everything else is unlimited in the prize bags. We have Outback, we have Rita's Italian Ice, we have the Backyard, which is at the Pickens Doodle. At the Market of the Mill, we have the Sandwich Shop and the 9-hole putt-putt is there. Also in the bag is a brag tag, a dinosaur duck, a Croc shoe charm. I heard that was very popular with the kiddos, those Croc charms, so that's in here, and as well as a pencil. We do have a voucher to go to a Greenville Drive baseball game and to a Greenville Triumph soccer match. So that's all included in the completion prize bag. So they can complete as many summer reading challenges as they like, but they only get one prize bag for that. As I mentioned, the grand prize drawing will be on August the 3rd. Give a couple shout outs to some of our grand prize winners. The YMCA has donated a pool party for one of the winners at any of the one locations. And also the Kids Play in State Cafe, or whatever, I think I got that all mixed up. But anyway, just right down the road, granted us some kids passes. So we're super excited to have those as part of a grand prize this year. Also, a huge shout out to the junior ROTCs for stuffing all these bags with all this stuff. So not only did they stuff it, all the vouchers that I mentioned, they had to cut each one. So they were a tremendous help to us, along with the youth services staff as well, getting this all together. So that is that part of it. I did include in your packet some stats, just to let you know how we did in the past as far as our kickoff numbers and the attendance for each performance, as well as how many people had completed the summer reading challenge in each target age group and at each location. I did want to mention as well that by attending a summer reading collaboration with the other libraries within the state and sharing ideas, one of the ideas was to reach out to the schools to see if they would attach the summer reading challenge to the report cards when they were distributed. And we had several elementary schools and middle schools in the area willing to participate in that. So that's helping us increase our numbers for this year. And Liberty Elementary, they stepped it up a notch for us. So they challenged their students. So if they bring in their certificate of completion at the start of the school year, they will be invited for a foam party that they're hosting there at the school. So I'm sure those numbers at Liberty will boost tremendously because of that challenge that they're instilling on their students. So there again, just having that partnership and those communications and reaching out with others to see what's working well and trying new ideas. We did want to tie in SC 250, so we do have some programs aligned with that. At our recent staff day, we had the opportunity if staff wanted to do a block print of the logo, so a lot of people participated in that, so we could wear the t-shirts with the SC 250 logo on them, or some did bags as well. We will have an American Girl Felicity program tied around the SC 250. DAR is doing a Carolina Day at all the locations as well. One of the members, Karen Pettit, has recently written a book, so she will be reading her book, and we'll have it as one of our dial stories during the summer. And also, I don't know if y'all know this, but we have an archivist and a backpack kit where you can actually record your own history to preserve it. So we're going to have a program demonstrating how that works and then setting up interview times so the public can preserve their own history by telling their story. We also going to have story walks at all of our locations with the dinosaur book, with one exception. With the Pickens Doodle, the one there, they're going to get a permanent story walk. So we're going to have a different book theme geared towards their installation when that does take place. So I can't leave out the over 18 people. So if you complete the reading challenge, you will get a bag. While supplies last. And it's different color straps too. You don't have to have just orange. So, but that was it in a nutshell. So.
Thank you. Okay, the next will be public comments, which is limited to 3 minutes for a total of 30. And just want to read a brief public comment statement. Welcome to the Pickens County Library Trustees meeting. We appreciate everyone taking the time to attend tonight. Before we open the floor for public comment, I want to review a few guidelines to ensure our meeting is respectful, orderly, and efficient. Time limits. Each speaker will be allowed up to 3 minutes. Sign up. All speakers must be registered on the sign-up sheet prior to the start of the meeting. Courteous and kind. We ask that everyone treat each other with respect. Please refrain from using profane or threatening language and avoid personal attacks on board members or staff. In order to maintain a neutral forum that allows all viewpoints to be heard without intimidation or disruption, we ask that the audience remain quiet and refrain from all outbursts, including applause, jeering, and booing. One way to communicate, this is a designated time for the board to listen to you. Please understand that we will not engage in a back and forth dialogue or answer questions during this period. The board will consider your comments and may refer the matter to the library director for review if further action is needed. When I call your name, please step to the microphone and state your name and city or town you reside in for the record and to begin. And we're ready for our first speaker. Any questions? Sorry. First speaker, Meredith Burr. Whoa, sorry, lady.
Hi, my name is Meredith Burr. I live in Clemson, South Carolina. I'm also a parent and frequent patron of the library. I'm submitting this statement for the public record. The board's decision to fire our experienced award-winning library director Stephanie Howard was deeply wrong and represents a governance failure. According to the South Carolina Trustees Manual, the role of a public library in a democratic society is to ensure free and open access to information and materials for all. Former Director Howard did exactly her duty in protecting intellectual freedom, but this board is failing in their duty. According to the Trustees Manual, it is in fact the duty of the Library Board of Trustees to protect and defend intellectual freedom. This board has failed in this duty by firing our Intellectual Freedom Award-winning director for doing her job, removing the American Library Association's Bill of Rights and Freedom to Read statement from collection policies, which the Trustee Manual recommends always be included, and creating a set of collection policies that aim to censor materials. These actions not only embarrass Pickens County, but also open up our county to legal risk. The new collection development policies violate the role of the library. From the Trustee Manual, the library is a selector, not a censor. A selector believes in the individual's right to examine and evaluate materials and make personal choices about them. A censor believes in evaluating and choosing material for others according to the censor's own values. The new collection development policies represent censorship. They include rules for evaluating and choosing materials for others according to the values of board members. The argument that all books still exist in the library is not sufficient. Books need to be accessible. Reclassifying books intended for one age group to another part of the library makes them harder for people to access. Now books that I or others would like to find for their kids may not be there when we browse the shelves, and we won't know what's missing. The ALA Freedom to Read statement includes that in a free society, individuals are free to determine for themselves what they wish to read, but no group has the right to impose its own concepts of politics or morality upon others. A library fulfills its duty to intellectual freedom by providing a wide range of books and materials and leaving reading decisions to individuals. Parents have a responsibility to guide their children's reading, but parents in this board should not be making decisions for other people's children. Doing so is government overreach and censorship. Judy Blume, my favorite author when I was young, wrote, "I believe that censorship grows out of fear, and because fear is contagious, some parents are easily swayed. Book banning or book restricting satisfies their need to feel in control of their children's lives. This fear is often disguised as moral outrage. They want to believe that if their children don't read about it, their children won't know about it, and if they don't know about it, it won't happen. But books can be the best tools for understanding complex issues. Limiting kids and teens' access to books does not protect them from life's complex and challenging issues. Limiting access can in fact be harmful. Please do your duty as library board trustees to protect intellectual freedom. Put back the Freedom to Read and Library Bill of Rights, stop censoring our books, and let all of us, individuals and parents, decide what to read. Our community will be better for it. Thank you.
Next will be Kate Bird.
Good evening. My name is Kate Bird. I'm a resident of Pickens County, Central South Carolina, and this statement is submitted for the public record. I speak tonight to the board and to the community in this room and those watching online. In March, my public comments were about good governance. The people who use this library and the taxpayers of Pickens County deserve it. They are not getting it. This board rushed a collection policy into place with no implementation plan, no guidance for staff, and no clear process for how decisions would be made or communicated to the public. That is not governance, that is improvisation, and the community is paying the price. Which brings me to drama, not the drama so evident in this board's conflicts and administrative chaos. I'm talking about the book Drama by Renee Telgemeier. In March 2024, there was a reconsideration request to have drama moved to another section. 3 members still on this board voted to move it to the then young adult section. The vote failed and the book remained in the juvenile section. Yet recently, Drama, a book suitable for ages 10 to 14, has been quietly moved to the adult section with no public notice, no explanation, and no update to the library's online reconsideration list. It may be just one of a number of books shifted the same way. The public has no way to know. The public deserves to know which books are being moved, by what standard, and at whose request. Pickens County School District publishes the name of the person filing a reconsideration petition. That transparency would show this community that this is not an organic process driven by concerned parents. It is a coordinated campaign driven by a small group imposing their views on everyone else. That coordinated campaign led to the firing of Library Director Stephanie Howard, who repeatedly asked how to implement this very policy as it was being rushed through. Instead of an answer, she got a termination notice. Many in this community believe the board's treatment of her carries consequences they have not yet fully reckoned with. The recklessness extends beyond the collection. 3 members voted against signing the form for state funding. That is not stewardship. That is recklessness in service of a personal ideology. Nothing I have seen since January has changed my assessment of this board, and I know I am not alone. The people of Pickens County are watching, and we are keeping the record of this board's failures. Thank you.
I'm going to so butch this name, but I'm going to do it anyway. Augustin Edmondson. Sorry, did I mess it up? Okay, thank you, sorry.
Members of the board, my name is Gus Edmondson. I'm a resident of Easley. I'm here tonight to address the systemic overreach, procedural violations, and fundamental misunderstandings of law that define this board majority's current platform. Every single fact, statistic, and email I am citing tonight is not a rumor. It is a documented truth obtained through a formal Freedom of Information Act request. The public records have unmasked exactly what is happening behind the scenes here. I'd like to correct a legally vacant talking point spun by previous public commenters in these chambers. The claim that the First Amendment only protects speaking and not reading is both ignorant and uneducated. The United States Supreme Court has made it clear for decades, notably in Lamont versus Postmaster General and Board of Education versus PICO, that the right to freedom of speech explicitly includes the right to receive information and ideas. The right to read is an inseparable component of the freedom of speech. Second, I think we should dismantle the claim that this board is conducting a broad, neutral audit of age appropriateness. The Freedom of Information data completely fails that narrative. The public record shows a continuous outside campaign dating back to at least late 2024, which this current voting majority has fully embraced. When analyzing the unique book titles targeted across the individual reconsideration forms, the library's master log and the specific 21-book hit list emailed directly to members of this board by outside political group leader Janelle Raines, 58.8% of the entire conflict footprint exclusively targets LGBTQ+ individuals, characters, or histories. When looking strictly at the physical paperwork generated by this outside network, that concentration spikes to 81.8%. The Freedom Data Trail proves that this is not an objective administrative review. It is a highly focused ideological dragnet against a specific demographic. Third, I ask this board to look around this room and look at the public record since this policy was announced. The overwhelming dominant turnout of Pickens County residents has been explicitly against this overreach and in favor of free access to literature. The community has spoken clearly, and you need to abandon this outsourced political agenda tonight, implement an objective collection policy that follows professional and publisher data, and trust your library director and professional staff to do their job. Your actions carry direct administrative violations. According to the library system's own internal master ledger, for titles such as The Perks of Being a Wallflower or Last Night at the Telegraph Club, professionally staffed forensically recorded that this board majority held invalid votes, failed to pass legal motions, and manually forced books to the adult section without a formal review process. And let the record be crystal clear on what happened next. Our former library director, Stephanie Howard, whom this board subsequently fired, was the one who stepped in to move these books back to young adult to preserve standard legal county protocol. You won't publicly say why you terminated her, but the timeline reveals the truth. Her firing came right after she was forced to pause all youth and teen programming across the county just to divert the insane manpower required to execute your ludicrous cataloging demands. Because you refuse to trust the automated system data and refuse to trust our professional librarians to do their job, you paralyze public library operations for our children. You did not fire her for poor performance. You terminated a professional who had just notably won an award for protecting the freedom of literature, purely because she dared to manage the direct fallout of your ideological overreach. This is documented, undeniable proof of a complete disregard for procedures.
Thank you. Jonell Rains.
First of all, I want to thank Mr. Heimberger for facilitating moving books to age-appropriate sections. You've earned my respect. What I would like to see happen as soon as possible is the reconsideration charts be updated. At present, they do not reflect the current truth. I would also like to see both past and present charts post the date the form was turned in as well as the date the final decision was made. This will help with transparency. It will also help patrons know if a reconsideration on a book has already taken place. It would be helpful, too, if you would update the library's website to include the data of how many times a book has been checked out of our library. Oconee County Library does this. This would help in patrons knowing if the book is a popular read or not, and would also help when filing a reconsideration form to show that possibly the book just needs to be weeded due to lack of circulation. We need a written policy statement from this board showing the process of how e-books are checked out by minors. Are there safeguards in place to keep a minor from easily accessing adult material? I have been told conflicting information on e-books policy, and during my review of the age-appropriate books, there seems to be an increase in the number of teen books being offered as e-books. They are clearly age inappropriate. One staff member told me that a child can use their library card to check out any e-book. I was told by another staff member that the safety is a parent's job to ensure their child doesn't read adult material. Another staff member said the child's library card, when entered, will flag whether or not they can access adult material. For parent transparency, I would like to see this clarified in a written policy. It would be awesome going forward if patrons could be given a 30-day window to review the purchase list of books for children. Concerned patrons could then provide feedback to the director. It might actually cut down on the amount of reconsiderations. I would finally like to state that there are still many books in the teen section which need to be moved before you can claim you are in compliance with the budget proviso. Signing the last one on good faith that these inappropriate books would be reviewed and moved if not in compliance. But now, the next compliance form stating you are in compliance should not be based on hope, but based on the truth. Again, I want to express my deep appreciation for the fact that 5 members of this board, as well as Mr. Heimberger, have proven they know what age-appropriate means. This awareness will correct a situation that placed minors in psychological and physical harm. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you. Virginia King.
I'm Virginia King. I live in Easley. And first, I'd like to apologize for going over my time with the last time the board met. When I heard the heckling from the audience, I just tuned everything out, and therefore I did not hear the timer. I didn't realize I was that good at tuning things out. And so it won't happen today. I have been reading several of the books in the children's section of the library. Some of them are very good for parents to use to teach sex education to their children as the parents deem age appropriate. 2 of the books I really appreciated are Where Did I Come From by Peter Mayle and Where Willie Went by Nicholas Allen. Where Willie Went is a wonderful book to help parents talk to their children about sex. It can be used as a guide to answer questions children may have. Because of the nudity, it should be relocated to the adult section under your new category of parenting. Parents can use discretion as to the degree the child is ready to understand the material. It's best to answer the child's questions without giving all the information at one time. The second book, Where Did I Come From?, is over the top, showing body parts and explaining foreplay in the act of sexual intercourse. It can be used as a guide to answer questions children may have, but it should be relocated to the adult section, parenting, teaching sex education, and shown to juveniles as preparation for puberty by their parents to the degree the child is ready to understand the material. Again, it's best to answer the child's questions without giving all the information at one time. Thank you for creating the new parenting section. This will be a great resource for parents to use for reference material as they teach their children. Thank you, too, for all you are doing to make our library morally sound for our great community. Thank you.
Thank you. Reba Cruz.
Good evening. My name is Reba Cruz. I'm a Pickens County resident and a library patron. Tonight, I want to make a clear public record regarding the quiet relocation of the graphic novel Drama by Raina Telgemeier from the juvenile collection to adult nonfiction. The book was previously reviewed through the library's formal reconsideration process, appealed, and ultimately retained in the juvenile collection after board review. The book has now been moved out of the youth section without any public reconsideration, public vote, or publicly announced policy finding. That matters because your own written policies establish specific standards and procedures for these decisions. The collection development policy states the library will neither promote nor censor any particular religious, moral, philosophical, or political conviction or opinions. It further states that the materials will not be excluded or included solely because of race, nationality, sex, or the political, social, or religious views of the author or intended audience. The policy also states the following will be excluded from the juvenile collection: adult nudity, sexual descriptions, and vulgar language. In fact, Drama does not contain any of those items. The public reconsideration request filed against this book in 2023 repeatedly objected not to graphic content or language, but to the existence of LGBTQ characters and themes. The petitioner described the book as indoctrination, accused it of promoting acceptance of LGBTQ people against religious family values, and argued children should not be exposed to same-sex relationships. That is plainly a viewpoint objection, and that is exactly why constitutional safeguards exist. Parents absolutely have the right to guide their own children. Your policies already recognize that through youth library card controls and parental supervision, but no parent and no religious political faction has the right to impose those beliefs on every other family in Pickens County. So tonight I'm asking this board directly, who ordered the relocation of Drama? Under what specific provision of the policy was it moved? If this relocation was not based on the content standards in your own policy, then what exactly was it based on? This quiet reclassification was done outside written policy and is a serious breakdown in accountability. The people of Pickens County demand an open government, consistent standards, and a library system that serves the entire public equally under the Constitution. Thank you.
Excuse me. Thank you. Lou Kay. Did I say that right? I'm sorry. Did I? Okay. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Luke Kay. I live in Clemson, South Carolina, and I'm here, pretty much as always, to represent Students Against Book Banning based at Daniel High School. The 2025 NPS June survey showed that library patrons were incredibly satisfied with the library system as it was then. Yet, you changed the policies and fired Director Howard. When you surveyed YA section users about the supposed confusion over the term young adult, 95% of responses said there was no confusion, yet you insist on changing the name. I have a hunch. You do not represent the community. You are not acting with the best interests of my age group at heart. You are going against the First Amendment, and you are taking power away from Pickens County parents. There's no porn in the library. I think that every single person on this board and in this room knows that deep down. Books like Drama by Raina Telgemeier are not prurient. You know they're not, and you don't like them. You're allowed to not like them. You're allowed to raise your children however you see fit, but you're not allowed to raise every child in Pickens County. The state library has released guidance that is very clear regarding the proviso. A library must have a reconsideration policy, a functioning materials and collection policy, and a library card application that clearly identifies the age at which a child can obtain a library card without parental consent. We had all of that already. We were already in compliance with the proviso, despite what some people claim, and the current vagueness of the newly enacted materials and collection policy takes us further away from that. Let's pretend otherwise all you want, but considering the fact that 3 of you voted against signing the certification at the March meeting even after passing your destructive policy, I don't think you care about library funding or the libraries at all. I think you're using the proviso to give your actions false legitimacy. But you can't pretend to be something that you're not forever. Forcing parents to give their children access to the entire unfiltered adult section in order to access books written for teens, such as Drama by Raina Telgemir, that you have personal disagreements with is not protecting parent choice. Censoring important stories that you disagree with is not protecting children. People are going to notice books disappearing from the shelves, programs disappearing from the schedules, and costs increasing if this ends in a lawsuit over these choices. I call on the board once again, as do my peers, to make decisions with the ideals of intellectual freedom in mind, and to stop attempting to take the place of parents. Please, just reverse course before things get worse. Also, if there's any way that a 17-year-old can get one of your dinosaur ducks from the reading challenge, please let me know, because those sound awesome. Thank you so much.
Andy Hendricks.
Good evening. My name is Andy Hendricks. I'm a resident of Pickens County. I live in Easley. I've watched every available board meeting online. I've struggled with what to actually say tonight. At this point, I fear that the damage is done. Your agenda is clear. I have no doubt that a portion of this board firmly believes that they are doing the right thing. I also have no doubt that their very convictions and beliefs have been their own worst enemy. I can say with certainty that I experienced more emotions than one should when watching a library board meeting. I have watched people speak to or about others in ways that can only be described as shameful. I have watched time and time again certain board members refuse to listen to experts and refuse the seriousness of the lawsuits they can open the county up to with their actions. Not just the lawsuits, but to refuse the basic knowledge needed to fulfill their duties. This board has done nothing but rush unnecessary changes and failed to even act on time-sensitive documents which could cost the library with the loss of much-needed funding. Never mind what the termination of the librarian and the additional lawsuits will cost. The only losers in your agenda are the actual library patrons. I am here tonight to tell you that your actions are harmful and the only losers are the patrons, not any of you. I would argue you do not frequent any of our library branches because all of the information that you need to educate yourselves is found here, yet willful ignorance abounds. The library is here to serve all of the community and not to adapt to your misguided opinions nor act as a parent. The sitting chairman has acted in ways prior years that create a real problem with trust as of this moment and going forward. Knowing that one was not allowed to vote on moving a book without having read it per board policy on reconsideration, he did just that, as he stated at the February 24th, 2025 Budget Committee meeting. This is just not a violation of board policy. It is a willful violation of board policy each time it was done. The smirks of the current chair and vice chair and their comments when discussing Johnny the Walrus showed clearly that the intent was not to protect children as you claim. You were given examples of how books get into the children's section that are not age appropriate and how our librarian with her knowledge and expertise knew the book should be moved and wanted to move the book. At this point, I believe that in order to best serve this library, those that violated board policy or undermined the board should resign. Pickens County deserves better than they are currently getting. I intend to follow up with County Council regarding my concerns. Your opinions must be left at the door when you are serving on any board. Who you are and what you stand for matters. And I didn't have this part written down, but I listen every week to the librarians and everything they offer and how the community loves this place. And then how y'all act is just shameful.
Point of order, please. Excuse me, thank you.
I'll leave voluntarily. Yeah. See you at the next council meeting when I'm motioning for you guys to be vacated.
I'll be with you.
Thank you. Jesse Henley.
Good evening. My name is Jesse Hindley, and I'm a resident of the Pickens County. I want to take a moment tonight to sincerely thank the members of the Library Board, Interim Director, and staff for the difficult and often thankless work that you've done in reviewing and relocating certain inappropriate materials from the children's section to the adult section. In today's world, doing what is right is not always easy. In fact, it is often much easier to stay quiet, avoid controversy, simply go along with whatever is popular at the moment. But leadership is not measured by popularity. Leadership is measured by courage, it is measured by wisdom, and a willingness to protect what matters most, especially our children. Our libraries play an important role in shaping young minds, and you know this. Parents trust that the children's section is a place where materials are age-appropriate, educational, and safe for kids to explore. By carefully reviewing these materials and making thoughtful decisions about placement, you have shown respect not only for families, but also for the purpose and integrity of the library itself. I also want to acknowledge that this could not have been an easy process. I know that there has been criticism, pressure, disagreement from many directions. Yet you continued forward with professionalism and responsibility that deserves appreciation. This is not about banning books or limiting adult access to ideas. Adults remain free to read whatever they choose. This is about recognizing that children and adults are not the same, and that materials intended for mature audiences belong in sections designed for mature audiences. That's a reasonable standard, and one that many families in this community support. So tonight, I encourage you, please keep fighting the fight of doing what is right, not simply what is popular. Communities depend on leaders who are willing to stand firm on their principles, even when it is uncomfortable. Your actions have reassured that many parents and grandparents that their voices matter, and that the well-being of children is still worth protecting. Thank you for your service, your courage, and your commitment to our community. God bless.
Thank you. And that will end our public comments. Next will be the approval of minutes. We'll do all 3 minutes individually for a vote. First one will be the policy committee meeting minutes, which were dated 1/28/26. The floor is now open for a motion. Do I hear a motion to approve item 5A, which is the policy committee from January 28th?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Motion carries. Next one is the special called meeting from 2/12. The floor is now open for a motion. Do I hear a motion to approve item 5B, which is the special called meeting from February 12th?
I'll make a motion.
Make a motion. Second?
I'll second.
Is there discussion or anything?
There needs to be a correction to those minutes. Somewhere between the first set of minutes and the revised minutes, my comments were altered, and I want them to be reinstated. So on page 5, the second to the last paragraph, it says, Dr. Wheeler stated that there isn't any pertinent material in the library, and the phrase, the librarians wouldn't put it in the collection, had been removed. I want that reinserted.
Okay.
And I sent that to Lena.
Okay. Any more discussion?
Yes. Basically, none of the corrections that I asked for are in that, were put in there. I don't understand why. It's been 2 months since the March meeting, and I've been unable, for whatever reason, to get the changes that I requested put into the minutes. So I really don't know why that is. So, no, I'm not going to vote to approve these either. We have to redo them. I've been looking at minutes, and people here have been talking about reading the minutes for the past year plus, and they're basically transcripts of what transpired in the meeting with a few edits, and it's not verbatim. And that's true up until we get to this particular meeting. And for some reason, in this particular meeting, we just can't seem to use the same methodology that has been used for all the other minutes up until this one. Now, I don't know why that is, but it seems to be the case. And I've been asking since March 25th about this, and it just isn't really going anywhere. So I would respectfully ask that if we could just try it again and use the same methodology of all of the other minutes that were taken and do a more complete job of these and adding in the items that I asked to be added in.
Any more discussion?
Lisa, at our last meeting, I thought we were going to do a transcript from the audio because there was so many errors in note-taking, absences.
Yep.
So I do think that this is corrected moving forward, since it is just going to be a edited transcript.
Yes.
So I do appreciate those Mark and Haps. You know, we need to have them corrected before we can vote on it.
I agree.
And I want to, we did, Mr. Trimshy, sorry, Mr. Roberts' hands.
No.
We did the last meeting, we decided going forward that we're just going to do summaries now because we do have the video and the recording of the meetings. But this meeting was done before that decision was made.
Yep.
So for this meeting here, up in the future meeting should be according to the summary. So, and my only comment on this is these meeting minutes are for us. It's our board meeting, right? So it's public for the public, but it's also a recollection of what we did in the meeting itself. So if a board member is asking for a change or a specific thing, I really feel that should be on record, not to say that it is more important than anybody else's, but if they're asking for specific public record, I believe that since they are our board meetings, we should be able to have that. So even when the summaries come, if there's something that is happening that you would like a specific comment or something put on there for the record, that should be able to be added additionally late, in the future also. So, but that's my only comment on it. Any more discussion? Okay, let me put do I hear a motion to approve the minutes for the special called meeting on February 12th? Oh, I already did that, didn't I?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Please bear with me, I'm sorry. Okay, all in favor of approving the minutes? Do I? We got a second,
Yeah,
did we?
I did second.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, Bruce. All in favor of approving the minutes as written, 5B, the special called meeting from February 12th. All in favor? Oh, okay. All not favored? Okay. It fails unanimously. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Okay, sorry. Library board meeting, the floor is now open for the motion to approve 5C, which is the library board meeting from March 19th. Do I get a second?
Second.
Discussion. Okay, all in favor of approving the minutes from March 19th, library board meeting, all in favor? It carries. Thank you guys for bearing with me. I'm sorry. You guys are very kind, thank you. Next will be the library director report. Mr. Bruce.
Okay. Let me start off with mentioning that the library has been recent recipient of 2 grants. One is from the General Foundation, and it was a grant for $2,000 to purchase large print juvenile fiction, which has been a great need of ours. The second grant was a Federal Library Services and Technology Act grant, also $2,000, to cover the cost of Bright Star Theater, which Margaret mentioned a little earlier. Bright Star Theater is a troupe that will be performing during this year's Summer Reading Club. I, along with a couple of other staff in our youth department, have been working on creating a parenting collection, as I think was also mentioned during our public comments. We're working first here at Easley and possibly at other branch locations. We have shelving units on order as part of this project. Library staff have responded to 14 requests for reconsideration of library materials so far in 2026. And actually, just this afternoon, we updated our website with each of those 14 requests being now listed. And I've also been doing some review of the 2027 library budget, looking at a couple of things and wanting to be prepared for when the county brings not only the library but all other county departments online for the new fiscal year in July. I've been working with Mark on that also a little bit. I'd like to move to financial report now. Yeah, go ahead. Sure.
I have a couple of questions.
Yeah.
One is, I want to know, outside of reconsideration request, have you received any lists or requests for removal of books of the adult section that are outside reconsideration requests?
Yes.
Okay, so you have received lists from
Yes.
from the public, from the board?
Yes.
Did you just say removal?
Pardon?
Did you say removal?
Removal to the adult
Okay,
section.
sorry, I didn't hear that, sorry.
Yeah, yeah. So board members and the public are sending lists?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
We are evaluating those using the same criteria that's listed in the collection development policy.
Yeah.
You know, and I said at it was either the last meeting, or it might have been the March meeting, that librarians in all libraries order books based on reviews and that kind of thing. But sometimes materials are purchased based on information that they have at the time from review sources, and when the books are actually brought into the library, here in particular, and the book is given closer examination, there are a few times that it's discovered that what was understood to be the age level, age-appropriate level, or the lack or inclusion of things that are mentioned in the collection policy, bring us to the opinion that a change of location needs to happen. So that's what's been going on here. We are not automatically, just because we get a list saying, all right, moved.
Okay, well, because my overall concern is that when people submit lists, that it creates an undue influence from non-professionals, and it's the librarians that are the ones that have been charged with deciding what books should be moved. So that's one of my concerns.
Yes.
I have a question, because this came up at the last meeting. Have you found anything that you would describe as prurient material in the collections? using the legal definition, which is a shameful or morbid interest in nudity, sex, and so on, one that goes beyond a normal, healthy curiosity about sex. And I'm going to put these two together. And have you found any work in your examination so far, taken as a whole, lacks serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific value? So have you found any books that you would classify as prurient by the law or that lack serious merit in your examination of the collection so far?
Prurient, yes.
So you found books that have a morbid interest?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what I would like to do is I would like to get, as the public has suggested, a rolling list of books that have been, moved, and especially identifying the ones that are considered prurient. And the reasons, and not only just the list, but I would like to know the reasons that they're being moved. And I'm sure the public would like to know that as well, especially if something is classified as prurient, which is a pretty serious allegation for a book. So those are my concerns, and I hope that we'll be getting lists of books that, that are moved, and the reasons, specific reasons why they're being moved. As for the budget, I wish the county would give us a more detailed budget. I have no understanding why Ralph and Ken are reluctant to do that. But anyway, in my looking at it, the budget is $50,000 less than requested. There was a 1.9% increase over last year, but I suspect that was put in to cover
Dad, hold on one second.
the raise.
Did you hear that buzzing?
Yes.
Okay.
It was my insulin pump.
Oh,
I
I'm
did-
so sorry. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. I'm sorry, that was just, I could not hear what you were saying.
I apologize.
So please, go ahead, continue. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
well, yeah, and I suspect the 1.9% increase of the total budget will cover the raises as it's a 3 plus 1% that.
That's an open question right now.
Yeah, it is an open question, but I think it's in there. But we still would have a deficit, and I suggest that the deficit is probably the fact that we're not going to get any of the hires that we requested.
Yeah.
And maybe part of the deficit will be that because the county's going to pick up some of the maintenance because we no longer have our own millage anymore and we fall under the county. But the real point here is they put this budget up, the overall budget, and there's absolutely no reason whatsoever why we can't have a detailed budget, something that we can actually react to. And this is just an open comment to the public.
No,
because I'm
it's
really
not an
sick
open
and
comment to the
tired
public.
of this.
Can we, point of
Okay.
order, and bring it back to finishing your report?
Well,
So he can,
Before,
and we can address after he's done with his report. the
Yeah, and
specific
that's
things.
fine. I
Can we
just-
do that, so he can get through what he's trying to?
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. You've got the floor, Bruce.
Yes. Okay, so,
And that ends my question.
okay. So financial report, and in particular referring to this document, there's two separate documents. One is the blue document, Munis, which is the financial system, and
Which is hard to read.
yeah. So that's why we put the same information into the spreadsheet. There's really not a whole lot to say. We're right on target with the budget overall. You'll see in the upper right-hand corner on both pages, the number 83.3%. That's 10 months' worth. That's the percentage that we've gone through for 10 months. And you can see that we're pretty much right on. There's some categories that we're lower on, but Cassie and I are going to look at those and see if we maybe need to do budget transfers out of those if we're not going to spend all that money into other places like books, where we can always spend money. So I don't have any concerns at all at this point for this budget. I think we're right where we need to be, and our goal is to have the entire budget spent up by June the 20th, which is also when the county wants us to spend it up. Okay, foundation report, you've got a one-page.
Can I ask a, I'm sorry,
Sure.
can I ask a question back onto the budget here?
Yeah.
Or, the financial statement? So it looks like state aid money has been completely spent. We're at 100%, it looks like. We only have like about $10 left in the available budget. On the
Which one
state-
you look?
State aid for books.
Yes.
Interesting. So that means that we're able to actually get all of the state aid funding, which is $360,000, and we were also actually able to spend it all before the end of the year. So that's great. Thank you very much.
Yep.
I have another question about that. Is it possible to get in the future, to get these two with our packet when we get the agenda and the minutes, to be able to look at it ahead of time before we're sitting right here, right now? Because
would
this
be
is a lot
nice,
of
yeah.
information and we want to be involved in it.
Of course.
But when we get it right at the meeting and we're discussing it, then it's kind of hard to, give you our input as much as you probably need and deserve to hear. So is that a possible for next meeting, or?
It's a probable.
Well, good, I like that. Thank you.
Okay. Foundation report, the only thing to say there is that the foundation sold one leaf, whatever that means, 2 T-shirts, and they bought a Square brand credit card terminal.
It's a credit card machine, so
Yeah.
when you sell the T-shirts, we can actually take your credit card
That's
right
right.
anywhere.
And then the statistical report, let me get to that. You'll notice that a number of the statistical categories show a negative change when compared to last year's third quarter. I'm not too concerned about the single-digit decreases. I think that there's probably a number of reasons that could have caused a slight decrease. Some of the larger decreases can probably be laid to the fact that the staff shifted attention towards the collection management mandate that they were given several months ago. But the good news there is that we're back to focused on programming and that kind of thing. We've kind of integrated what we need to be doing on collection management at this point. So interestingly, the greatest increases were in electronic resources like e-books and magazines. Canopy is a fairly new service that provides movies for people to stream from home, and you can see that comparing to last year, we're up 100% on that one. So it's just a continuing trend in libraries that there's less use of printed materials and much greater use of the electronic versions of those materials. That's all that I have for my report at this point.
Mr. Chairman, can I make some comments or regarding back on the library information report?
Yes, sir.
So this discussion around are people providing lists and moving books underneath the radar is really inappropriate, I think, because, as we've said several times, we've implemented the new policy, and then we're trying with the new director to come up with a process to make sure that the collection currently is in conformity with the collection policy. So books will have to be moved dependent on the content. And that's not anything nefarious, it's not anything underhanded, it's we're trying to come up with a system to adhere the collection to the collection policy. This whole thing about, okay.
I'm sorry.
That's
Point of
appropriate.
order, if you need a drink of water, please go get it, because we are speaking up here, so I appreciate some quiet, please. Thank you.
The next thing about like the purient interest and the work taken as a whole. The collection policy isn't trying to address whether or not it's pornographic or has purient interest. Is it age appropriate for minors? That's what it's about. So this constant bringing up of what does purient mean, and are there books that are purient? And lo and behold, after it's been said, I don't know how many times, that there are no books like that in the library, we just find out tonight that there possibly are. This whole thing about taking the work as a whole to determine whether or not it's suitable is a test. That's the Miller test, and that's to determine whether or not it's obscene material. And that's not what the policy is doing. The policy is trying to see if the books in our collection are age appropriate. And this constant barrage of, I know you're not happy. I know that some people are not happy with the collection policy, but it keeps coming up, and it's inappropriate, and it's really not helpful. We aren't trying to do anything underhanded. We're just trying to make sure that the collection policy is implemented. And this constant purient interest, book taken as a whole, is just like, it's just too much. It's really just too much. I'm kind of really tired of it.
Point of order.
Okay.
If you guys cannot keep the respect for us up here, you can leave. I'm sorry, but this is a meeting of the board, and you guys are participants in the audience. Please, thank you.
And then, as far as the budget goes, I have had some conversations with Ralph about this whole process. I think we went into the budget process this year not quite understanding what was going on with it, and why they won't give us a detailed list of the budget. Again, it's a mystery, like you said. I found out today that sometime between the third reading of the budget and July 1st, they will dispense that information to us. But, you know, what's been adjusted up, down, what's been moved, we're just taking our best stabs at trying to figure that out, but we're kind of flying blind. So I think we're just going to have to, you know, keep on it and understand what's going on, so that when we start this process again in just probably a few months, we're going to be in a better position to kind of handle that. But that's what I found out today regarding that.
And just real briefly, one of the things that Mark and I discovered earlier this week is that the numbers that the county has published to this point, the overall number that appears on the website from first and second readings is not solely the appropriation, which up until a couple days ago, I thought it was. It's the total of appropriation, state aid, library fines and fees that we're projecting to collect, all of that. So that was interesting. And it has influenced how I'm looking at the budget. So that's just as a point of information to you all, because in other library locations that I've worked in, when it comes to budget time, county council would publish what their either appropriation or what the millage would bring in, and that's what the libraries would then take to include in their own budgeting process. But here in Pickens County, it's everything. So neither good nor bad, it's just a different way of doing budgeting.
And it also appears that the number that they are using for the state aid
Yes.
is low.
Yes.
So that's going to work to our benefit for another like $30,000 or so, but we have to, can't really verify that until we get the sheet back, but that's what it appears, that they're using a lower number from the prior year instead of what we had for '26. So that will also help with that overall deficit.
More discussion? I do have one comment to say. When you get a list or you get something that, of the list of books, is the person or the people that, are they doing the review process, or are you or librarian staff actually doing the process of whether it's against the policy or whether it's for the policy?
I don't know what the process of the individuals is in determining what books they put on their list, but as we've received these lists, like I said earlier, we go through the process of looking at that book based on what the collection policy says.
So we are relying on the expert of the librarian staff?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any more
There's no,
discussion?
there's no book that I've received as a list that either I have said or any other staff member has said, all right, well, since it's on the list, it's being moved. No. I have to follow the policies set by the board. That's what the director is supposed to do. Implement the policies of the board as I understand them. And as I understand them comes from conversations with you, as well as conversations with you interpreting what the policy says.
Thank you. Any more discussion?
I would like to raise the question then, and this is addressing partly what Mark has said, is that, and the public's comments about the book drama, I would be very much interested to know what content in that book would be prurient, would not violate, would violate First Amendment rights, or would not be protected by First Amendment rights, but more importantly, how it even violates the policy of this board. So that is a good case in point. I would like to see the exact reasons why a book that is as innocuous as drama is was moved to the adult section, which is absolutely, in my opinion, madness. It is not a book for adults, it's a book for teenagers. So if we could, that would be a good case in point. If you could provide the detailed reasons why drama was moved to the adult section, I would be very interested in seeing that. And that would be a good case in point.
I've made note on that already, and tomorrow I will look into it personally and get back to the board. And if I find that it doesn't meet collection development guidelines for having it moved to the adult, I'll move it back.
Yeah, okay.
I'll move it back.
Thank you.
All right, well.
Okay.
But I will look at it personally and let you know.
Any more discussion?
All right, thank you.
Oh, yes.
And is it also fair to say that trying to come up with this new procedure and implementing the collection policy, we're kind of still in the early stages of it, and you're trying to get it smoothed out? So, I mean, perhaps maybe the drama book it's good that we're going to look into it and see
Yeah.
what it's all about, but I mean, it's only been a short time.
So I'm wondering who decided to move the book?
I don't know.
Okay, well, I think that would be good to find out, too, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Point of order. Discussion. Is any more discussion? Okay. All right. Next is old business. And we are to discuss the process for receiving minutes before the meeting. The library board clerk, it says Jolana Hamilton, but Lena, we all know her as Lena. She will email the draft of the minutes, of the previous minutes, 5 days before the meeting, and we will have 3 days to look at them and make any additions, any changes, anything that we would like to update at that moment, and then give it back to her. So she has 2 days to do this updating, and then that way, hopefully, when they come to the meeting, the minutes will already be updated, and we can approve them as amended, and maybe some of the updates and all that stuff would not be taking 3 months later to do something. Does that sound,
Yeah. The only other suggestion I would make is that when people make suggestions for updating the minutes, that they are put in so that we can identify the changes, rather than having to plow through the minutes and have them side by side and try to compare them.
highlighted or something?
Yeah, so you can just
Okay.
highlight them, yeah,
Okay.
that's what I'd suggest.
And maybe, and this was talked about, and I'm not sure what the decision was made, and I'm not sure if we maybe need to bring this in front of the board also, is to maybe on the minutes on the website, link the video to the minutes there? Would that be feasible or no?
What do you mean by link?
To almost, like, have a link that they can click on to go to the YouTube video, the meetings? Or is that something that we can discuss further, or maybe talk about, or, I don't know, if that would be something more convenient, or maybe it might be more of a problem. I'm not sure. I was just thinking of that. We don't have to discuss that tonight, by no means. We are talking about, we've had some issues with minutes and stuff, so I was just, and we also decided to, like I said earlier, all the minutes will be summarized from, we voted on that before. So I want to open the floor now for a motion to accept item 7A of the new process for the minutes. I want to put a motion on the floor
Yeah.
to accept that process that I just described.
I'll-
Do I get a second?
I'll make the motion.
Oh, go for it.
Yeah, okay, and then,
I'll second it.
All in favor? Carries unanimously. All right. And new business. There is a selection of Library Director Search Committee. We obviously have to resumes, and we have to hire a new director. Bruce will not be staying here forever. I have asked, sorry, this is a third party, so it's going to sound funny. I have asked 3 to serve on this committee, Mr. Robert Sams, Mark Kilborn, and Miss Elisa Pinkerton. This floor is now open for a motion. This is going to be a committee that will weed out, meaning the board has a lot of business going on and going through all the resumes, all of it's going through the resumes all at once. So it's more of a committee to sit down and kind of organize it, schedule it, get the top 5, 10 candidates, so that the board, when we meet in executive session to interview and do resumes, that we're actually making leeway instead of wasting time on ones that we would not normally.
yeah, I was going to suggest that you do winnow it down, but the board has to make the final
The
selection.
committee, yeah, the committee will go through and maybe, and that way the board, when the board is meeting, it will be the top candidates.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be some unqualified people because we have to be careful to maintain, even our certification, we have to get the state funding, we have to have certain criteria, is that not right? For
For the director?
I mean,
Yes.
the director
The
has
short
to have
answer is
certain
yes.
qualifications, yeah, okay.
Okay.
And what you just
Go ahead.
read, that came from Danny, so that was the
Yes,
chairman,
sorry, that
right?
was not, yes, that was from the chairman that recommended that, and I'm reading his notes. So I just, yes, that's why it sounded funny. The floor is now open for a motion.
I'll make the motion.
A second?
Second.
Now discussion?
Well, when Danny asked me to be on that committee, I said certainly, but I'm very interested in Bruce's opinion of the candidates. So, I mean, we got a 50-year vet, so I would like to
I'm willing
use
to
his
be involved
expertise.
in whatever extent that you want me to be involved in that process.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, that'd be good advice.
Any more discussion? All right. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. All right. There's a third line, or I guess it's B, on the new business, to discuss and possible motion for a volunteer policy. The library has a volunteer policy that is, it says that it cannot accept any volunteers under the age of 16, and we have recently found out that the Pickens County has a liability issue that they have to be 18 or older to be a volunteer. So we are putting this forward so that we can change the wordage of the item number 7 on the volunteer policy that says the library cannot accept volunteers under the age of 18. And that is, do I hear a motion to carry that 8B? As to change the wordage to 18 instead of 16 for the volunteer policy?
Well, wait until the motion to make a comment.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I'll second.
Discussion, sir.
All right, well, when I worked with the Friends of the Library, and as Margaret said, the ROTC, I mean, the Friends of the Library couldn't do what we do without, those
And I'm
youth.
glad you said that, because we asked that question also, because there's a lot of teenagers, even if it's a group related, like Boy Scouts, ROTC, or if a teacher, or if it's a classroom, as long as there's adult present, right? Is that how the understanding, or no?
What they're looking for is under 18 to be allowed if they're coming in as a group like the Boy Scouts or ROTC, who, as an organization, provide the liability insurance for their participants. So yes, we would be able to continue to take advantage of younger volunteers if they're part of a group that provides that insurance.
Okay, thank you.
Any more discussion?
And-
Okay. Oh.
Okay, no, so then this would apply to anyone obviously not part of a group,
Yes.
that we don't have the coverage for that.
The county, yes, the county does not
doesn't
have the
that.
coverage for anybody
Okay,
under
I get
18.
it. Okay.
Okay, so all in favor of this language being changed on our volunteer policy from from 16 to over 18? All in favor? Okay, motion carries. All right. Is there any further business to discuss? Since there's no further business to discuss, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that one.
All in favor? Motion carries.